Sit and relax.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So there's going to be two sections. The first part is going to be, we're going to discuss etiquette. And then the second part, Wathsala is going to take the role of teacher and Piumi is going to be the student and she'll ask questions. So our topic for today is etiquette. And so etiquette could be in relationship to personal and professional. So we'll start with professional etiquette. So some examples would be.
Hold for a minute. I want to talk specifically about keeping deadlines at work. That's the topic.
Okay, so professional etiquette, keeping deadlines at work. So some things would be, if you have a project that you're working on and you have a deadline, say you have a week to complete the assignment and something has happened that you know that you're not going to meet that deadline. So etiquette would be to reach out to the people that are involved, whether it be your manager or other people that are working on the project, and figure out, first off, figure out why you're not going to meet the deadline, talk about that, but then have a plan in place. Now, the opposite would be to just, you're not going to meet the deadline and you wouldn't say anything. And that would be improper etiquette, because now people are thinking that everything is okay and the due date comes and it's not going to be complete. I was thinking etiquette also in the workplace. If you have a meeting and say the meeting is at 10 o'clock and for some reason you're not going to make the meeting. So usually etiquette would be, you would reach out to the person who's in charge of the meeting and you would just send a quick IM on Teams, or you can send an email and just say, apologies, either you're going to be 5 minutes late to the meeting if you're in another meeting and it's run over, but it's just to let the person know that you're going to be there, or the reason why you can't make the meeting. So Jagath, did you have any specific?
Yeah, here's my question, right? Let's say somebody would give you a project so before you take it, you have to negotiate about the timeline. Let's say they want it like tomorrow. If you think you cannot do it, that is the time to say, hey, listen, I cannot get it done tomorrow. You have to come up with a reasonable explanation why you cannot get it done. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't want people to get into this habit. For every project, they tell last minute, oh, I can't do it. That's not. So negotiate. Go ahead.
So I was just going to say, for instance, say Wathsala, I said, Wathsala, I need a study plan and I need it by tomorrow afternoon. And say I'm telling you now, and you know that it's going to take you at least 3 days to do the study plan. So I think the best way to go about it would just be, well, Laura, I'll do my best, but I believe that to do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to need this amount of days to do it properly. Instead of just saying, no, I can't do it. Like, there's a way to say, there's a nicer way to say, I want to make sure that it's done properly, so I'm going to need this amount of time. And people are usually flexible when you were.
Let me ask you another question. Let's say somebody gave you a project, you cannot get it done. Have you ever been a time where you would not inform the person, hey, I cannot get it done, or you would just ignore, assuming that they would understand. Have you ever done that in your life?
No.
What would be the consequences if you were to do that in this country? If you were to repeat it a couple of times, what would you think would they do?
Lots of angry emails and phone calls, asking why it wasn't done, asking why it wasn't communicated that it wasn't going to be done. And I would say that if you did it consistently, multiple times, like it was a pattern, you could probably be let go. You could be fired for it. You could be reprimanded. You could get a bad yearly review. So it definitely would have an adverse effect on your performance review.
How often they evaluate you? Once a year, 3 quarterly?
A lot of the companies, they do quarterly. So they'll do quarterly reviews, and you have to fill out, there's a sheet, and usually it's online, and you have to fill out what your goals are for the quarter. Like, what do you hope to accomplish? What do you want to do? So usually it's the priority. So it's your work, that your responsibilities, your daily responsibilities, that doesn't really change. But then they also want, there's a section where they want you to learn new things, right? So it's like growth in your position. And so that's quarterly. But then year-end review is important because that's where money is involved. So if you have a really good performance review, you'll get a nice raise. You'll get a good bonus. That's not always the case, right? It depends on the performance of the company too, but it definitely makes a difference.
So the next question is, right, so you have your peer group and you have your managers, right? When it comes to these things, are you trying to satisfy your peers, or are you trying to make sure the managers are okay with you? What is your goal? I mean, which one has more effect on your career?
Both.
Both.
Because if you can't work with your peers, if you can't find a way to work with many different personalities, it's going to hinder your performance, and then you're not going to get a good review from your boss, right? The one who's looking at everything. You have to learn how to work with lots of different people. So I think that both are important.
So here's the thing. So since you know that they are going to evaluate you, right, would it make sense for you to ask at the very beginning from the manager, hey, tell me, how are you going to evaluate me? Is it a good question to ask? So
Yes.
you want that.
Usually you ask that question, you usually ask in an interview. Usually that's a question I ask. So how do you evaluate? Like, what are you expecting from me in my first few months? What are you expecting from me in my first year? And how will I be evaluated on my performance? Like, how do you evaluate? But you just brought this up, and I have to say this helps. And I think for both of you, it would be good to start. So I would have a spreadsheet. So every time I had a assignment that I had to do and that I completed it, I write it down, and I have like an Excel sheet, or I would use, this last time I used my Outlook calendar, and every time I completed something. So you could go back and you can say, okay, I completed this many of this. And, I'm just coming up with something. So say you had to write reports, Piumi. So say in the year, you can say, I wrote 30 reports, and I I did this and this. And that way you can actually list it at the end of your performance review. And you can say, this is what I did. And it's an actual number. So there's value to it.
Yeah, it's very good. I do this always. Any company I keep an Excel sheet. So I put the name of the project, whatever is given to me, the day I got it, the due date, and when I completed it.
And
So,
also,
yeah.
sorry, before, I just don't want to lose my train of thought, but I was going to say also it's good because if you have your list of everything that you're working on and somebody comes to you and says, I need this done tomorrow, you can open up your Excel sheet and you can say, okay, I'd love to do that, but I have this, and this that I'm still working on. And you can say, like, what takes priority? Do you want me to work on that? Do you want me to stop working on this and work on that? So it shows that you're showing what you're working on. So it has more, I feel like it has more substance when you do that.
That along that line, right? The priorities in the industry that you are in, how often the priorities can change. So you say, oh, this is done first, this is second, third. These priorities, are they going to stay the same, or can they just change like several times a day?
Yeah, so sometimes they won't change. Sometimes the priority stays exactly how you think it is, but there are some days where the priority will change multiple times in the day. So if you have like report A, B, C, they'll say, you know, A is more important than B, then C. And then all of a sudden it's no, C is more important than B and A. And then it's like, no, B is more important than C and A. So it depends on the day. Sometimes it follows the schedule. But I think you kind of just have to, I think when you're first starting, that could be really frustrating because it's very hard to switch gears. And I think just over time, you just learn to kind of like take a deep breath and say, okay, it's out of my hands. Like, this is what's more important now. So I just have to go with the flow of it and do it.
All right. I think you and I have given them enough things to think about. Now, I want to hear from each one of you, Piumi and Wathsala. What have you been doing to keep track, keeping deadlines? Give us that everything that Laura talked about. What have you done in your career? Do you keep the deadlines? Do you inform them? Are you always on time for meetings, or are you late? If you are late, what do you do? Do you keep an Excel sheet of all the work that you are doing with the deadlines? What is your approach? Pimi, this is very important to someone like you, since you are starting your career. All you have to do, if some manager wants to know what are you doing, you just open the spreadsheet and say, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I have done. And that will shut them. All right, it's your chance to talk. Whoever wants to go first can go first.
Okay. In my working time, we have I'm mostly working in Excel sheet. Then I'm adding the information in the customers, the items, and uh, shipper details, all the things in the Excel sheet. So then they have also a Excel Google sheet. Then I want to update uh, this, and I'm getting some. I want to update that Google sheet. Then and I think so. If someone asking what about this shipment, then I'm looking at my Google sheet and I'll tell all the details for them, and it's very helpful for me. And the other things, I'm not going to attend the meeting for these 2 weeks. So I'll plan to attend a meeting on time because it's my first job, and I want to build up my career. So then another thing, so I want to use my knowledge and all the things for this uh, uh, job, and I want to develop in this field.
So
Pumi,
your question, have you ever missed deadlines and ignored?
Hmm.
There was a
So
deadline and you said, ah, hell with it, I'll do whatever I want. I don't have to inform. Have you ever done that? Or have you ever been late to a meeting and how would you, rectify that, correct it?
yeah, I think if I attend the late for the meeting, then they something they angry with me, and they think about me. Uh, I'm not a responsible person in the work life, so I don't want to get that opinion for others. Then I'll try to on time in the meeting.
Have you ever missed deadlines? If somebody gave you a project you did not complete on time and then you didn't even let them know, you ignored. Have you ever done that?
So if
Be honest. We want you to be honest. We don't want you to make
yeah,
lie to us. And we know when you're lying, Pium. I
yeah.
can tell when you're lying. Your eyes go to this side. So as right
No,
now, can't be lie.
so if I face that situation, I'll explain my reasons and why this is what happened, what I can't do this before the deadline, and yeah, I
So
don't know
that happened
uh,
before.
because I have
Would
any
you do that before the deadline and say, hey, I cannot do it? Or you pass the deadline and give all these takameme excuses? What did you do? How did you do it? Oh,
I
I could not do it because I had to go to the dentist. My tooth. Who gives a damn whether you had to go to the dentist? Managers don't care. So how did you do it? You know what I mean?
no,
Did you inform them before or you did it after when you missed a deadline? Did you inform them beforehand and say, "Hey, I cannot keep it"?
I didn't get that question.
Okay, let's say you had a project, right? It's due tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Uh,
You can get it done. Would you wait till day after tomorrow to tell them, or would you tell them now and say, "Hey, I cannot get it done"?
yeah, I think now I can tell them. So I can't
So,
do that,
so
and
yeah,
I'll
you are as bad as everyone I know in Sri Lanka who don't keep deadlines. That's what I think. I don't think you guys take this kind of thing seriously in Sri Lanka, which is a very bad thing here. See, no manager wants to ask Laura. Nobody wants to hear your excuses.
um,
Nobody. Laura?
no, I think that it depends what company you're working for. I don't think it's an excuse if you have to go to the doctor. I mean, some people are sick, so like they're dealing with health issues, and depending on the company you work for, they do take that into account, but you also can't take advantage of this situation. So there is some, depending on who you work for, there are some companies who don't care about anything. You could probably be dying and they wouldn't care. But there are some companies that really do care about, your work-life balance. That's what they call it.
Let me tell you what I tell all my colleagues. I hope you will understand about this country. Okay. I always tell my colleagues, if you were to drop dead right now at work, they will find a replacement before they move your body out of this building. Do you understand what I said?
Yeah.
I don't think they did. Let's say I dropped dead at the office. I just died, in my office. Before they take my body out of the building, right? They have to take the dead body out of the building. They will find someone else who can do my job. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That means to them the job is important. Whether you are dead or not, they don't give a damn. They'll say, go and bury yourself.
They'll just walk right over you.
Exactly. So these things, anything else out. Wathsala, it's your turn. Don't lie, okay? When you lie, you bring too much. I know when you lie.
No. I did that mistake several times, but I learned how to plan my work on time. And it may hurt my reputation. So now I started to do my project on time.
Yeah, listen.
But I have
And if I can't do that, I will ask from you. So I want more time, a couple of days, like before the deadline.
Yeah.
so sometimes I was gonna say sometimes there's a deadline and there are multiple people involved in the project. So say Wathsala, it's not just you, or Piumi, it's not just your project. It's say 5 or 6 people and you're at the end. So all of those people have to do something before you can finish the project. So if they're behind and it's delayed, and say you were supposed to have a week to finish, but it was delayed by the other people. So now instead of a week, you only have 2 days to finish it. And it's a hard deadline. You have to get it done in 2 days. So how do you think you would react in that situation? Because again, like etiquette doesn't really play a part in this, because there is no, oh, sorry, I can't do it. You have to do it. You have 2 days to do it now instead of a week. It's a deadline that isn't going to move. Like you are the last person involved in the project. So all of these other people had delays, and they were able to have delays because there was a time frame. But now you only have 2 days instead of your week. So how do you think you would get the work done without feeling the pressure?
First, I ask from the others and discuss the problem, and I try to do that anyhow.
Right. And maybe like if there was stuff you could do beforehand, like you could do everything that you possibly could, and maybe there were certain pieces you had to complete. You had to wait for their information, but like if you started, then you can finish it. I mean, that happens a lot. So sometimes what I'm trying to say is sometimes it's out of your control, right? Sometimes you don't have that much control. Jay?
Yeah, I was going to say, why do they call it a deadline? Why don't other phrase like finish line or
Timeline, some timeline.
my feeling is either you get the job done or you die. That's what deadline sounds like to me. So why deadline? The things don't
maybe
die.
because dead means it's
So the
complete.
things
or
don't die. The project
completion.
don't die. They call it a freaking deadline. So
Yeah.
get it done or die. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Let me try etymology of deadline. Go ahead. We are going to finish this session. Any other question? Piumika and Wathsala?
Tammy, how long have you been? You've been at this position, this job for 1 month? How long?
No, 2 weeks only.
Oh, only 2 weeks. It seems longer.
It's only 2 weeks, yeah.
So,
So I'm going to.
do you feel stress, or do you feel like it's a lot of work, or you're okay still right now?
No, in my job role, it's not gonna stress.
Okay.
Then I want to get some orders and add to the Google Sheet. Then I'm most of the time in a free, and the shipment is coming. Then I have some documents to make,
Okay.
and at that day I'm a little bit busy, but some days I'm little bit free, not
Okay.
stressed. Yeah.
Good.
Okay,
Yeah.
I found this. Read this, Laura. Here is what the etymology means the history behind the word deadline. Here.
So etymology,
First
first recorded use during the American Civil War. Original meaning a line drawn around a prison beyond which prisoners were shot if they crossed. The
Yeah,
term was
Yeah.
used at places like Andersonville Prison, where guards enforced a literal dead line to prevent escapes. So the evolution of the meaning: by the early 20th century, deadline began appearing in publishing and journalism, referring to the time limit by which material had to be submitted. Over time, it lost its lethal connotation, became a general term for any time-bound requirement. Interesting.
It is very see, my hunch was right.
Yeah.
Almost like there was a time you could, it was associated with death.
So you
Today,
couldn't go over the line.
Exactly, you'll be dead. See, today deadline simply means a due date or time limit, but its roots remind us that missing one
Used to be far more serious.
Yeah.
Email.
I was right. It sounded to me either you get it done or you are dead.
Right.
Yeah, not exactly it means. Okay, let's finish this and we'll go to the next section. Okay. Thank you. Hold on. Let me stop the recording here.